Hi, I'm Edward Muzio, CEO of Group Harmonics, and I'm going to tell you how the ladder of inference creates bad judgment. Have you ever gotten yourself in trouble by jumping to conclusions based upon what you saw in someone else's behavior? It happens more often than many of us realize. As a way of explaining this, Harvard business professor Chris Argyris defined what he called the ladder of inference, a set of 6 rungs on a metaphorical ladder that we climb to get from what we see to what we believe and what we do about it. Down here on the bottom rung is the first level. This is called observable data. Observable data is everything we might capture in a situation if we're capturing it with a camera. So let's say you're at a staff meeting with 5 of your employees. One of them is giving a presentation, pointing at the board. One of them is shifting in her chair, checking her BlackBerry. One of them is taking notes, etc. All of that is observable data. From there, you move to the next rung, which is selected data. It's too much data to process, so you select some of that data and you ignore the rest. Let's say you choose to focus in on the employee who's shifting in her chair, checking her watch, and checking her BlackBerry. From there, you move to the next rung, which is assumptions. Assumptions are where you start to add meaning. You might look at her and say, she seems uncomfortable. From there, you move to conclusions, the next rung. You might say, I think she's uncomfortable because there's something she doesn't want to say or doesn't want to share. Now, if you see that behavior a couple times, you might go to the next level, which is beliefs. Beliefs are what you come to think about the situation. You might come to believe that this employee doesn't share forthrightly when she has something to say. And if you believe that, you'll probably take action. You'll probably go off and do something, like start to ask her more questions directly to elicit those things she's just not saying. Now, why does this create bad judgment? The problem is there are 2 recursive loops here. The first one is from beliefs down to selected data. Our beliefs lead us to choices about which data we select. If you think this employee is untrustworthy, you're going to look at the data that proves it to you. You're going to ignore the data that doesn't. That's a recursive loop. The second loop goes from actions down to observable data. The actions you take, like asking her more questions in staff meetings, lead to situations, like chances for her to get uncomfortable, which lead you to more observable data in which she looks uncomfortable. Obviously, what you want to do is get in the habit of moving down the ladder. To do this, there are 2 simple rules. First, question your assumptions and your conclusions. So if you're seeing something in this employee that you've come to an assumption or a conclusion that she doesn't want to share something, ask yourself, what else could be going on? What data did I select? What data did I avoid? What else might have been going on that I couldn't see at all? Seek contrary data, even if you have to make it up. For example, maybe she was looking at her BlackBerry and checking her clock because she had an important deadline on another project that's even more important to the company than yours. Maybe it had nothing to do with you at all. There's nothing wrong with starting with observable data and drawing conclusions. You have to do that, but you don't want to get caught in recursive loops where the actions you're taking are based upon your own assumptions and nothing else. So whether it's by yourself or with a trusted colleague, get in the habit of questioning your assumptions. When you do, you'll be less likely to make bad judgments.